everyone, back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have the latest on the heatwave we have going on at the moment. The officially record-breaking heatwave. We have seen multiple records broken today, both local records, individual weather stations, individual areas, individual counties, but we've also seen a national record today in Wales with a new all-time temperature record. As I'm recording this, we haven't quite reached the UK temperature record. I'm recording this around 4 p.m. This is where we generally see the peak of the temperatures, but at the moment, as you can see, we are at 38 degrees in Cambridge and Lakenheath Royal Air Force Base. So there is still the possibility we still could have another hour of warming left, so we could reach that 38.7 degrees that we saw in Cambridge back in 2019. So there's a possibility we do just about edge the all-time temperature record, but I do want to get this video out so everyone can view it in the early evening. So I will put a post out later if we do break that all-time temperature record, but at the moment we are widely around 36 to 38 degrees, which is what we thought. We said potentially the peak could be 38, 39, and I said there was a chance we break the all-time temperature record, but it wasn't as certain. I did think we were going to get close. I thought we were going to get within half a degree, and we're there or thereabouts at 4 p.m. We'll have to see exactly what happens at 5 p.m. and there's loads of different stipulations with temperatures when we have these sort of things, because all the different weather stations can report at different times. Some of them are glitched sometimes they over-report, under-report, and I remember back in 2019, that Cambridge record we got only actually found out a day after it was observed, just because it was not an official Met Office weather station, so it took time for the data to come through. So the temperatures are roughly around that 37, 38, maybe 39 degree mark we could be seeing over the next half an hour as I'm recording this. But at the moment, the highest temperature is 38 degrees, and that is the third hottest day on record for the United Kingdom, and it is only 0.7 degree off the all-time temperature record. And you can see it's not just a peak locally, you can see widespread maximum temperatures from 36 to 38 degrees, and this is from the net weather. This is not all the weather stations that we have. There are more weather stations out there, but at the moment, on the net weather, these are the ones that are peaking. Of course, there will be other data we will see throughout the afternoon and evening, and probably around 7, 8 p.m. this evening, we'll be able to see from Met Office officially what was the highest temperature of the day. So do keep eyes peeled for that. I will retweet that on my Twitter page, so do check out for that. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and do remember to follow me on Twitter as well, of course, to see those updates. That link is in the description. As I said, you can see the max temperature records today, and you can see they're all from different timings. We're at 4 p.m. now, and you can see they're from around 2 to 4 p.m. It does look like Heathrow and Northolt haven't updated, and there's some of the generally hottest weather stations. Northolt only at 37.1 degrees, so perhaps that could update to at 4 p.m. to slightly higher. Heathrow hasn't got higher than 36.3 degrees at 2 p.m, which again is highly unusual if that has peaked. So this is why I say there is a lot of uncertainty with these weather stations. Some of them update at different timings, so we'll have to see exactly what the highest temperature comes out to be, but I don't think it will be higher than 39 degrees. So around the 38 to 39 degrees is our peak for the day. Whether we reach the all-time temperature record, we'll just have to see this evening. But I said we had reached a national temperature record, and we have in Wales. We've reached the hottest day on record, 35.3 degrees in Gorgelden. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly, and it's beaten the previous record of 35.2 degrees recorded at Howden Bridge. Don't know again if I'm pronouncing that correct, back in 1990. So only beaten it by 0.1 of a degree, but it is still a temperature record, and you never know, this evening we could see it potentially go a little bit higher. I'm not 100% sure whether we will see it go massively higher, but we'll have to see what happens this evening. Again, this is from around 2 p.m, so 3, 4 p.m. it could have been beaten, but it has been beaten so far today. It could go higher. Now, if we also go over to Meteo Seal, this is updated for around 4 p.m. This is 1 hour behind because it is using sort of standard Greenwich time, and you can see widely 35, 36 degrees in quite a few areas, peaking 38 degrees in areas around London. Cambridge there, you can see at 38 degrees, and you can see even up into parts of northwest, Horweden getting up to 37, Liverpool Airport up to 35. So you can see the full red warning zone getting towards that 36, 37 degree range, but it's going to be even hotter tomorrow. Incredible temperatures will be seen tomorrow. It could be 3 to 5 degrees hotter than this, with a peak in around the 41, 42 degree mark. And check out the second half of this video where we will be having a look at what the charts are showing for today. But you can see very, very hot. And again, you have a look into western parts of Wales. There's a different weather station, but you can see it getting up towards that 35 degree area. That's where rough area where we've seen that all-time Wales temperature record. But it's up and down the country, down into parts of Cornwall, 34 degrees, up towards East Anglia, 37, up towards North East England, 34, 35, 36. Ireland has broken regional records, getting towards the low 30s, and up in Scotland as well, getting into the low 30s as well. Incredibly hot conditions. Now, if you have a look at the live radar, if we just refresh this briefly, you can see the Weather Channel is showing 37 degrees in London at the moment, and is roughly what we are seeing. Now, there are a few convective showers around, some pushing into parts of Ireland, into northwest England, perhaps there, coming into Yorkshire. Again, just convective of nature, and they will cool those temperatures down very, very slightly where they do occur. Again, they're not being modelled particularly well, as we'll see in the models in a minute. They're not showing anything too much now, but it just signs perhaps for tomorrow we could see some thunderstorms for the afternoon and the evening. Again, we'll have a look at that in detail in a minute. And you can see around 4 p.m, if we do put those temperatures on, you can see the pinks. This is the deep pinks, showing high 30s, 35 to 40 degrees. And you can see where our air has originated from. Spain, Portugal, and France. This air is heading northwards, and it will peak, as I said, tomorrow. Incredibly hot conditions up and down the country into the 30s and widely mid-30s, high 30s across England. Now you can see where the temperatures have peaked through London, into northern London, towards Cambridge, East Anglia, all the way up through Lincolnshire, into Yorkshire, all the way across through the East Midlands, down towards sort of parts of Wales, the West Midlands as well, and peaking up towards the Liverpool area as well. And you can see there are coastal differences. You just have a look towards the coast up here, towards Formby, it's much cooler. You go slightly further inland towards St Helens, and you're getting up towards high 30s. So we are seeing a lot of microclimate changes here, but it is incredibly hot very widely. And again, you get Liverpool getting towards the mid 30s as well, could be getting towards 35, 37 degrees today. If we have a look later at what exactly peaks at, and could be reaching 39 degrees tomorrow. And again, even look towards Cornwall, you're seeing a lot of microclimate conditions here. Look at Torquay, it's probably around high 20s. You go slightly further inland towards the northern parts of Cornwall, and you can see getting towards the high 30s, 35, 36, 37 degrees. So a lot of regional differences, but everywhere it is pretty darn hot today. Now, if we do just finish on looking at what the live observations, we'll be finished having a look at the weather warnings. Again, we've covered this extensively over the last couple of videos, so we won't put too much detail into this, but we have still got a widespread extreme amber warning for heat across all of England, all of Wales, and parts of southern Scotland today and tomorrow. And of course, we have the red extreme heat warning covering where we have seen the hottest temperatures today and where we will see the even higher temperatures tomorrow. Through London, Cambridge, to parts of East Anglia, up towards Yorkshire, Lincolnshire, East Midlands, West Midlands, parts of Oxfordshire, up towards Manchester and Merseyside as well. Again, not quite going into the Liverpool area, but you can see a red warning covering here as well. So extreme heat, not just in those bullseye areas we've seen over the past few years, in that Cambridge Liverpool sort of corridor. That's where we've always seen the high 30s. In 2019 Cambridge, where we saw 38.7 degrees, but it's high possibility in Yorkshire we see 40 degrees tomorrow. Towards the Liverpool area we could see 39, 40 degrees. In Birmingham, Leicester, Nottingham, Cambridge, Oxford, London, all these areas could reach 40 degrees, and as we'll have a look in the models in a second, could reach 41 degrees. It's highly possible. 42 degrees is not out of the question either. As I do think we've got a completely highly likely now, pretty much guaranteed, we will break the all-time temperature record tomorrow, if not already done it today, but we will beat it again tomorrow if not. And I do think there is about an 80 or 90% chance we break 40 degrees and around a 50% chance we get towards 41 degrees. I do think we will definitely get up towards that 41 degree mark, but we'll just have to see how high it goes. Remember, the reason why we're seeing 40 degrees tomorrow is we're starting from a higher base today. It's not the air mass is massively hotter tomorrow, it's just today, as I saw in a report earlier on Sky News that they got to the Met Office on, today is essentially a warm-up for tomorrow. We're building the heat to the surface and throughout the atmosphere today, ready for it to peak tomorrow, and that is what we are seeing. It's going to be exceptionally hot today, exceptionally hot tomorrow, so again, please have a look at the warnings on the Met Office website and do stay safe out there. So if we do now have a look at what the UKV is showing for the precipitation and the temperature over the next few days, of course, those temperatures are going to be rising tomorrow as well, likely, as I said, into the low 40s for quite a few in that bullseye red warning area, but also we could see the introduction of storms as well in from the west. So if we do start on the precipitation, so you can see that this afternoon we don't have a lot around. A few showers, as we saw on the live radar, in northern areas and western areas. A few pop-up showers, convective showers that the models can't quite pick up on in this sort of scenario. Beyond that, we see tomorrow there is a lot more precipitation around, especially further westwards. And what this means is there will be showers and storms around for some in the afternoon. Those temperatures will be skyrocketing again in the east, good few degrees higher than today, but you can see thunderstorms potentially taking off through northern and northeastern areas, and a weather front heading in from the west, some thicker cloud and some precipitation along it that could be heavy and thundery as well. Luckily, it's going to sweep through on this UKV run quite quickly, and what that does mean is for Tuesday night, most people are in some fresher air. Nothing cold, but fresher. So it's likely to bring those temperatures back below 20 degrees overnight. And will be some showers and some stormy weather there. You can see some yellows and reds mixing into us, torrential rain. And we see that continue into Wednesday with the potential for more severe thunderstorms throughout Wednesday afternoon. Could be something quite severe there before it does spread through. We go into quite a showery regime from the northwest, especially in Scotland, but generally drier in the south. Still looking reasonably warm, but by Friday afternoon, seeing some heavy precipitation in the south. Now, it's 5 days away, so we can't say too much with that, but looks like we will be seeing some more precipitation this week. But the extent of that precipitation is still uncertain. So we do have a look at those upper air temperatures. You can see those upper air temperatures are going to be peaking tomorrow with those upper air temperatures getting to around 24, 25 degrees at 850 HPA. But you can see it gets swept away. The hottest air gets swept away around 5, 6 p.m. So just after peak warming. So it's not going to affect the highest temperatures in the east. Perhaps in the west, yes, but highest temperatures in the north and the east and the south still likely to be in around the low 40s. But it's going to be likely swept away. So overnight, upper air temperatures back towards the mid to high teens, which is going to be indicative of overnight temperatures back into the mid to high teens instead of the low to mid 20s. So it's going to be much better for sleeping, not comfortable, still going to be quite balmy out there in the evenings, but it's not going to be quite as hot and as oppressive as it is going to be tonight. So if we do have a look at those max temperatures, if we do run to this afternoon, you can see around 4 p.m, max temperatures are around that 38 degree, maybe 39 degrees. And that's what we have seen from the observations earlier in the video as we saw. So the UKV has been pretty bang on with temperatures today. So it does mean we can put more weight in this model for tomorrow. So it's been correct today, so it's likely to be correct again tomorrow. It hasn't got any bias within it. It's got the temperatures accurate today, so whatever this shows tomorrow, which is extreme, that is quite likely. So yeah, widely 36 to 38 degrees, and that's what we've seen today, smashing records as we saw earlier in the video. But overnight tonight, it's not going to cool down at all. 3 a.m, widely low to potentially mid-20s. Some could be high 20s in city centres, could be 25 to 27 degrees. Seeing some anomalous 27, 28 and 30 degree across southwestern parts. Again, I don't know what to say about that other than probably just a bit of a microclimate there, but most people in the low 20s, oppressive overnight temperatures, again, most likely will beat the overnight record low, which I think is around 23 degrees. So we're likely to beat that. And tomorrow, those temperatures by midday are going to be as hot, if not hotter, than we're getting at the peak time today. And by 4 p.m., widely 38 to 40 degrees with that red warning zone, 40 to 42 degrees up from London through the East Anglia, East Midlands, up towards Yorkshire and North East England. 40 to 42 degrees, exceptional conditions, smashed our all-time temperature record once again. Ridiculous conditions, and we're going to be seeing, something ridiculous. Potentially over 3 degrees hotter than our previous record back in 2019. And remember, 2019 we only beat it by around a degree or so. So completely ridiculous conditions being seen here, and because we've seen accurate conditions today, we can put quite a lot of weight in this. Now, as we head through to early hours of Wednesday, you can see it's much cooler, generally back towards the high teens, maybe holding low 20s in the far east, where we're holding us that hottest air, and by Wednesday afternoon, widely back into the 20s, low to mid 20s for many, maybe peaking in the high 20s in the far east, holding on to the hottest air. And by Thursday, much more pleasant summer conditions, around 24, 25 degrees, so slightly above average, but still pretty pleasant. And as we head into Friday, much cooler, around low 20s, even mid to high teens in the far south with the precipitation moving in. But by the weekend it could start to turn a little bit hotter, as we'll have a look with the GFS run in a minute. So if we do now have a look at the ARPEGE, compare that, have a look at the precipitation and temperatures with this. You can see tomorrow we're going to see precipitation move in from the west, turning quite heavy, slow moving, not showing anything over northern England, but showing it across the far west, some quite heavy, thundery precipitation sweeping through overnight and really picking up through Wednesday afternoon. So it looks like Wednesday afternoon, if you are in those central areas that's seeing record-breaking temperatures at the moment, today and tomorrow, it's likely to see some quite heavy precipitation potentially there through Wednesday afternoon. So it's going to cool things down and water the gardens and the plants and the wildlife out there as well. So should be good for everyone there. Bit of a cool down before things turn a little bit dry later in the week. Now have a look at the 2 meter temperatures you see this afternoon. They're slightly underdoing it. The ARPEGE today only getting temperatures up to around that 36, 37 degree mark, or peaking around 37, and we've beaten that by about we're probably widely about half a degree to a degree warmer than this. So we can sort of reflect that into tomorrow's temperatures. Now overnight, temperatures not going to drop much below 23, 24. A bit warmer than the UKV, but again the UKV is slightly higher resolution, so perhaps the UKV is picking up on slightly lower and higher areas as well, but widely low 20s. Again, picking up on these areas in the west and the northwest, across parts of southwest England, Wales, northwest England, hard dropping below 25 to 28 degrees. So ridiculously hot conditions being seen there. And as we head into Tuesday afternoon, we're seeing those temperatures peak around the 38 to 40 degree mark. Again, as I said, it's about a degree. Today, the ARPEGE was showing about a degree lower than what we've seen in reality. So we add a degree to this, more widely 38, 39, and again the peak in more widely 40 to 41 degrees, maybe the ice age 42. So I think tomorrow it is highly likely we break 40 degrees. So for the Met Office Day, they have about a 75% chance that we do break 40 degrees. I'd say it's more around a 90% chance. In my opinion, looking at the models, I think it's about 90% chance we break 40 degrees, about 100% chance we break the all-time temperature record tomorrow again. 40 degrees, I think we've got about an 80-90% chance of breaking it, and I do think there is a real possibility we do break 41, and at a stretch, we could get a high 41s rounded to 42, or potentially just about reach 42 degrees. There is that possibility there. Now, if we do move to Wednesday afternoon, just compare that. Again, you see those temperatures much cooler, mid to high 20s in the far east, but elsewhere, high teens, low 20s, so much better. Now, if we have a look at the GFS, again, we'll have a look at the temperatures for this, just to compare them. You can see today, pretty accurate. 37, 38 degrees quite widely, peaking perhaps in a few spots 39, so pretty accurate compared to today. Again, slightly warmer than the ARPEGE. The ARPEGE was showing the peak around 37, so GFS slightly more on the warmer side, but that's what we've seen in reality. And tonight you see those temperatures not dropping much below mid to low 20s, ridiculously hot sleeping here. Again, this is something that we cannot compare to other countries. Most countries that reach high 30s, low 40s have more widespread air conditioning. So overnight, even though in the day they deal with these temperatures the same as us, overnight they don't have to deal with these hot temperatures indoors, in houses, in hotels, all of this sort of stuff. The temperatures are regulated towards the high teens, which is general decent sort of indoor sleeping temperatures, not mid-20s. So sleeping, I think, is going to be the biggest issue we're going to see for many over the course of this evening. It's going to be the most widespread issue, I think, is going to be difficulty sleeping. Of course, vulnerable people are going to be affected by this, as we had a look at the red warning again earlier, but I do think sleeping is going to be a big, big issue as well. Now, as we move to Tuesday afternoon, you can again see a widespread area of 38 to 40 degrees and a very large slither through East Anglia, South East London, into the East Midlands, northern and eastern England, just generally an area of 40 to 41, I stated 42 degrees. So severe conditions here, smashing temperature records up and down the country, completely ridiculous. And again, by Wednesday, those temperatures are much cooler, but we're still seeing 30 to 33 degrees in East Anglia, so holding on to that hotter air much longer. So we'll have to see what tomorrow's charts are showing for Wednesday temperatures. I would say probably most likely scenarios high 20s for those in the Far East, but the GFS still holding on to hotter air there for longer, so in the low 30s potentially still there. So I have to see with that, but regardless, it's still going to be at least 5 to 10 degrees cooler for many than it is today, probably more likely towards the 10 plus degree cooler than today and tomorrow. So if we do now have a look at the GFS 6 o'clock run, just see what that is showing. Again, we haven't looked at the long range quite a lot recently. We haven't really looked at it really because we've been concentrating on the short range, of course. Now, if we do move on, you can see low pressure running in over the middle of this week, bringing some precipitation. By Thursday, Friday, high pressure back in control. Generally a warm air mass, as we see with the 850 HPA temperatures. Generally a warm air mass, around 10 degrees at 850 HPA. So mid-20s for the weekend is possible. Maybe in high 20s in the far southeast. Maybe 30 degrees as we see the 50-degree isotherm trying to push in. Now, we move beyond that. We've still got incredibly hot air to our south, so you've just got to keep an eye whether we see another southerly plume, because we are seeing from some ensemble members some very hot weather again towards the end of July. But this latest GFS keeps us around average, maybe slightly above average, warm, with the winds generally coming in from the west, so there will be showers around at times. Now, after you finish the video, by just have a look at the ensembles. Now you can see the incredibly hot air mass we have at the moment, dropping much towards average for the end of this working week into the weekend. And then you can see around that 26, 28, we're seeing a little bit of a peak in upper air temperatures. Quite a few of the ensemble members getting back towards 15 degrees at 850 HPA. Nothing compared to now, a good 10 degrees cooler than now, but still could give temperatures around the 30 degree mark, which still is hot and you know, quite hot for many, even though it doesn't really compare to what we're seeing now. Still, we'd classify that sort of heat wave conditions, so could be seeing a bit of a resurgence of the heat wave. Nothing compared to now. None of these ensemble members getting above 20 degrees at 850 HPA, let alone 25 degrees. But still, it is hot, and we're seeing that through the last couple of days of July, before we've returned to around slightly below average, perhaps through the start of August. And you can see precipitation signal does pick up. Nothing crazy, but highly likely just to be convective nature, so a lot more showers around. So it is looking very dangerous over the next day or so. Please do take care. This evening's going to be very difficult for many to sleep, so please do and try and do everything you can to keep yourself cool, not only you but also your pets, vulnerable people, neighbours, friends, family members. Do look out for everyone. Make sure you do take the necessary precautions, staying hydrated, have water by your bed as you are sleeping, because you may wake up dehydrated. Overnight, do open the windows, because although it is very warm overnight, most likely your houses, your rooms have heated up higher than the overnight temperatures. They're most likely in sort of the high 20s, maybe low 30s at the moment. Indoors, overnight, yes, it's still 25 degrees, but it is slightly cooler. So I'd have those windows open overnight, trying to get some airflow in, but then I'd say I'd close them in the day tomorrow. So yeah, again, I'm no expert with exactly how to stop staying hot, but there are plenty of articles out there at the moment. All you have to go onto the BBC, Sky, whoever you want to have a look at the news from, even the Met Office, will have tips on how to stay cool. So do check those out. Very quick, easy, quick Google search, and you'll be able to find that. I do recommend having a look at that to try and keep yourself in tip-top condition for the next day or two. And hopefully by Wednesday time, we're seeing a few thunderstorms around and some cooler weather. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you stay safe out there, and I'll see you again for another video.